Okay, so welcome everybody to the inaugural Bare Naked Words Zoom video chat stroke podcast. And I want to thank these lovely ladies, Rachel Lune and Charlotte Hart, for joining us and popping the Bare Naked Words ladies cherry with their first Zoom interview. So welcome ladies, thank you for joining us. We've also got Julie and Claire from Bare Naked Words, which everybody I'm sure will know. So most people know Charlotte and Rachel not only for their collaborations, and congratulations on the release of the Muse this week, ladies, but also their writing in their own rights, that we've worked with these ladies on. Rachel, we've worked with you on the Kane novels, and Charlotte on the Spiral, and of course the Evermore series. And I was looking back over how long we've been working together, and it's quite a long time now, ladies.
Yeah, yeah, just a little bit.
I'm going to hand over to Julie, because she has read the Muse and she has been raving about it this week.
Yay!
Are you on mute there, Julie?
I think she is. It's a good start.
They will be on there. Oh, you went away and you came back again then? No. No. We can lip read,
I was going to say, should we turn off and start again?
Let me see. I can't do anything because it's on your mutey thingy. Are you on your laptop or are you on your screen? Oh, she's gone. Sometimes Claire has a problem if she's got her laptop docked. Have you got it docked? Are you still there?
Yay! Yay! Still there. Great.
So yes, the Muse.
Oh,
this is without even a glass of wine. The Muse released on Monday.
We did.
Monday, absolutely brilliant. I have to say that Scott took me a bit by surprise, because I didn't quite like him at first. But actually, the more you read, the more depth you found to him. All these layers kept coming back, and actually I was a bit in love with him myself by the end of it. So what surprised you both when you wrote the story about the characters and how it developed? And
right, who's going first? Rachel, are you up or am I?
You go, you start. I need to think about that one.
Surprises. Well, without getting it, it's difficult because Madam plans a lot and I don't. So this is where we've sort of learned to work together. But we get a pretty good gauge on what we're doing all the way through. But she knows her characters, I think, as she begins, and sort of I'm not entirely sure who anybody is as we begin, and I sort of Scott was slightly surprising actually as the story progressed more than anything. I think he did come up and change a bit, so that was an interesting development for me.
I think I always struggle with Charlotte's characters to start with, because I haven't created them because she's writing them, whereas if I'm writing on my own, I'm creating both those characters. So I have to learn to sort of fall in love with them and like them as I'm reading her chapters, as we're working through them. And I often find that I don't like them at the beginning, almost like a reader would. I don't like them at the start, but by the end of it, I do like them. And
Yeah.
especially on the second read through, it's like, okay, I can cope with now. I can, you know, I'm enjoying it, and it does work. You know, and that seems to be a surprise for me. I always start off one way and veer the other way, which is good. And you know, it's interesting that you have a similar opinion, Julie.
So for people that haven't read it, without giving too much away, we've got Seffi, who is a ballet dancer. She's made it to top of the game at a very young age. You've got Scott, who is an artist, essentially, who's been dragged back into his family business, kicking and screaming, and he's a bit grumpy, doesn't really want to be there. Seffi's slightly disillusioned by people that she works with and decides this is it. And then that kind of where the story starts. And it kind of, once you get past that bit, you kind of, it's almost like a switch is flicked between the two characters. And I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but you kind of start the story in feeling one way, and you think about how they're going to be together, and then all of a sudden it just bam, it just changes, and they just shouldn't work, and they do. From my perspective, there are screaming contradictions, but actually it was really great to see how their relationship developed. It was to see Seffi's for me was a bit of a spitfire. You kind of thought she was going to be one way and have one kind of personality, and actually she really surprised me. She's straight talking, she knows what she wants, she's not afraid to hold back, and I loved that about. I thought she was great, you know, and I think she challenged Scott a lot, which was great. Lots of twists and turns. So as a reader, it kind of grips you, and because it's not a really long book, it's long enough for you to draw us in, keep us there, and all of a sudden I'm like, it can't end here. Which I thought was really clever.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But you know, I've told you what I enjoyed.
When you guys are writing, when you guys are writing, do you write certain chapters? Do you take certain characters each? What is your process when you're writing together?
So
You can go first.
we do, each of us take one of the characters, and we tend to do chapter each. So Charlotte will write hers, I'll write mine. I think we tried it, didn't we, with the first book?
I can't even comprehend how people do that, where they sort of write half a chapter each, because I don't understand how they're in each other's heads like that. I get the way we do it, because I was going to say it's not simple, but it's a simplistic way of doing it. Take a character each and then roll with the story, and that's great because you get to play off each other's anger or fear or happiness or whatever. So that's fantastic. But I don't get these authors that go over and write for 2 or 3 chapters and then the other one carry, and I can't. No, we have to do one chapter each and just stick with the character, and that works for us. But we do fiddle.
I was going to say, do you then go back in and fiddle with each other's?
Yeah, we have to, because our styles are so different that if we didn't, then I think it would be glaringly obvious that it was 2 people writing a book. And we've tried really hard to make it so that it doesn't feel like that, so that it feels like one person writing a book. But the only way we can do that is if I go into her chapters and lengthen some bits, and she comes into mine and shortens some bits. So that's, I think we're pulling it off anyway. So that's,
and we always have the opinion of, you know, or the word or the dialogue might need to be amended slightly. So we do sort of input on each other's, and also feed off each other's stories. I find it, you know, it's a bit of a motivator when I see the next chapter up. I read it and then it's like, oh right, yeah, carry on, and it gives me that that get up and go and hit the keys again and get the next chapter down, and it can really help, you know, speed up that process.
Yeah, we're quite fast now. We're quite fast at it now. We're getting good. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Have from beginning to end, and I know it must seem like you must have, but I feel like you've both got very different writing styles, and I could see that Rachel would have the story planned out from beginning to end, whereas Charlotte probably starts at the beginning and sees where it goes. And so do you have to sit and plan the story out before you start writing your chapter?
Yeah, we sort of talk about it. We have for this series, we've got an overarching storyline, and so we sort of agreed on that, and that's what we wanted to do right at the beginning. And then we will take the individual book story where it starts, and not necessarily where it ends, but the general gist of it. And we all tend to have probably a 2-hour-ish conversation where we'll go through and plan the chapters, maybe, you know, a third of the book the way through, and so know where we can get going. But we need to keep having those to finish it off, because actually the story does evolve and it does change, and there's certain things that we'll need to put in and certain things that have happened as we've been writing. So we tend to have those, you know, we've got one tomorrow morning, haven't we, Charlotte? 3
hours.
Just going through and planning and getting those details down, so then we can finish or get to the next milestone. And
I think with this series, it's different, because when we did the last series, it was we did one book and we were just going to see where that went, and then it went really well, so we decided to do another book and then another book and then another book. So we didn't have a huge overarching plot line to go through. They were very definitely singular book of a fashion, but you can actually start in two different books with that series, whereas with this one, the story is the 4 books with 4 stories in it. So we've had to plan, and there's no getting around it. Rachel's the planner and I'm not. I hate it. So I try very hard to stick to her plan, and then every now and again I send her a message just saying I've gone off plan and you're just going to have to go with it, because it'll work. So she bends a little bit for me, and I sort of stick to her plan as best as I can.
She normally messages me when I'm at work, so I have an absolute freak out, because with Charlotte you literally don't have a clue what she might have done. And then I come back and read the chapter, or sometimes 2 chapters, because she's like, yeah, I'm going for it, we're doing this. And most of the time it's okay, and I haven't had too many kittens, but I do sit there at work going, oh my god, what am I going to read when I get home, because that is generally how it is. So it can be interesting.
I think it's a little bit I don't like to know where I'm going all the time, because that, for me, it's a bit stifling. It makes me think, right, well, I've got to get from point A to B. And I don't mind going from point A to B, but sometimes I just like to change the bit in between A to B to make it a little bit different than maybe she thought it was going to be. But that's fine. Hopefully that's what makes it quite spontaneous, and it makes the reader feel sort of, oh gosh, I didn't know that was coming, because otherwise it would just feel quite, well, like any other book, I suppose. We don't.
It does, because sorry, Wendy, go on.
Go on. I was going to say, do you read reviews, or do you stay clear of the reviews?
No, I do read. I read them for release week, and then after that, done.
Yeah.
I try very hard not to go looking at reviews, because they can be the most wonderfully uplifting thing in the world, or the most devastating thing in the world. And thankfully we haven't got too many devastating ones between us, but you know, things happen on Goodreads and you just have to go with it, I suppose. Learn as best you can and move on. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
It's very can be a character building play.
So and God knows I made all sorts of mistakes.
Back to the Muse.
And it just, the beginning was scary, whereas now I tend to just relax and go with it. We all get them.
So can you share a secret with everybody that's not going to give too much away, that's not in the blurb, but it's going to make somebody want to read the book?
A secret. Got anything, Rachel? I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of.
The only ones that they're all quite big ones.
Yeah, it's really hard not to give the main thing away. I mean, Scott Foxton is hot. That's a really good start, and he's very angry, and he's very annoyed, and he's very upset with life. And this little Spitfire comes into his life, and he's not particularly happy about her either. I mean, how dare she, frankly? So there's quite a lot of push and pull going on there. And you know, funnily enough about that, I was worried she was not going to be enough for him, and Rachel actually made her well enough for him. So that was really good, because he is a grumpy old thing.
He's a right arse. He's a complete arse.
He was. I'm reading it.
It's the way I write them. I've spent 7 years writing arses that happen to get better, and you fall in love with them on the way through.
Yeah, he's a good job. He's a really handsome. You've got this image of this really handsome arsehole. When you're reading it,
you know, bushy hair. Yeah.
And all of a sudden you think, well, that's all right. He can get away with this because he's going to be really fit.
Yeah, get away with it. I think Seppi as well, though. I think she really surprised me on the way through. So I think she's definitely a girl that readers should read. You know, she's a proper little character, and she's going to give as good as she gets. So yeah, she's well worth reading.
Because it is an age gap romance. You know, he's in his 40s, she's in her early 20s, and you expect that she would kind of be a bit dominated by him. And do you know what? No. She's not. She holds her own, and I think that's why I really quite admired her and admired her character. And I think everybody needs to just go and buy it and read it, because it's just great.
I think I mean, fair play to her. She's got Landon as a brother, so I think when you've had to deal with that most of your life, you've learned to stand up to people.
Yeah.
I was going to say, she's had to stand up to some pretty arseholey men in her life, and so she's learned how to deal with them, and so she's not going to take it. You know, you think she may do when you start, especially when she and Scott start getting together, and there's moments where you could sort of see it going that way, and I think towards the end she really sort of turns it around, and I think that's a bit of a shock where you go, oh, okay, right, okay, yeah.
So where does the inspiration for all these arseholes come from then?
Charlotte?
Men, you know, I like to find hidden depths in them. I mean, we all love a bad boy, don't we? I mean, that's just typical. Or you just want to know that there's that guy who is grumpy, bad boy, arse, whatever you want to, in whatever genre you're reading, who actually turns out to be soft for the one he loves. And I think that's where we all want to travel, isn't it? Really, that's the story we want to read. And I get this sappy, happy, very lovely, dovey books. It's not really my cup of tea. So I just like to write them. I like to find them. I like to peel the layers back, and I like to have a female lead that's going to work with it. So
we've often talked about male characters and what I'd like to read in a male character versus what Charlotte would like to read in a male character, and they're very different. So.
Yes, we found out in this series, actually. We can't give any of that away, but yes, we have found out.
It's been interesting. But you know, like I said, my opinion of the arsehole always does change. I start off not liking them, and Charlotte does pull it out of the bag with some encouragement of that he needs to fall in love. He needs to fall in love, Charlotte. You have to end it on a happy ever after.
I do for you, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Our books,
Um,
yes. Yours.
Yeah, if you,
I
if you left Charlotte to her own devices, would you finish it on a happy ever after?
I like them. I 9 times out of 10 I like a happy for now situation, but they don't have to be happy ever afters for me. No, I don't. That, to me, that's not life. So sometimes it just doesn't work out quite the way everybody wants it to. So I'm happy with that flow, but Madam doesn't like that at all. So I have to bend. So I have to bend over there and let it. Having said that, this series isn't quite that way inclined, or isn't not as much as Kane's were. Each book had a very definite finish, whereas this one's a little bit different.
Yeah. And yeah,
how far ahead are you with them?
We're halfway through book 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So you are quite far ahead then.
Yes, we know everything that's happened.
So the cover for this, have you got a copy there so we can show readers?
Have you got anything then?
It's just beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It is such a lovely cover, and when I first saw the cover, it kind of intrigued me into the book. But actually, when you're in the book, it's so relevant and it's so on point for it. It just makes sense. But yeah, it's lovely. It's a really, really gorgeous cover.
It is very pretty.
Yeah. So we
finished. I saw the video that Lou had done for you as well, which was
gorgeous.
It was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, very kind.
Such a cool dude.
Lou. Yeah.
It was really nice.
So shall we read out a couple of the reviews of Goodreads?
The good ones, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen any bad ones.
I was going to say, I haven't seen any bad ones.
No, they're all brilliant.
They're really good. One reviewer says, the Muse is a must-read, a fabulous storyline, incredible characters, beautifully written, and those twists and turns throughout the story keep me hooked from the start. And I'd really have to agree with that, because that was, for me, what kept me going. I didn't want to put it down. In fact, I read it twice in a week.
Brilliant.
Another one says, good God, this story is stunning. The artistry in the words brings the story to life before your eyes. And that, to me, is kind of a testament to the way you seamlessly write together. I wouldn't know where one started and one of you started and the one ended. It just works. You kind of get an inkling, but actually it just works.
And now we've chatted to you and we know who develops what and who wants a happy ever after. We might be able to work it out a bit more now.
Well, I don't count on it.
Yes, we're going to throw a curveball in right at the
Yeah. So after all this time now, you know, with the COVID and we've all been in lockdown and everything, are you looking forward to the signings that are coming up? Because I know you've signed up for a few now, haven't you?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. It's the weirdest time. Yeah, I cannot believe that we haven't been signings. I mean, everybody's safe, so that's the main thing. But I can't believe that we haven't been hugging and dishing out books everywhere. And it's just been the weirdest time.
Yeah,
but yes, I've got 2. And Rachel, you got 2? I can't remember.
I've got 2 too. So yeah, 2 next year, which will be amazing to sort of see, because you know it just is this massive chunk out of your life, and actually, as a writer, you do feed off the energy of meeting your readers and speaking to other authors, and just having that that energy around you really does sort of help you when you're sitting at the desk really, you know, struggling to write the words, or you're getting writer's block, or you've got another really long week, or you're up to deadlines. You know, it's those sorts of good feelings that can get you through.
And
I've missed everyone.
it's probably once a year that we get to sit together at a table and sign books together and meet readers together, and that's amazing as well.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
feel the same when we go. It's probably the one time in the year that we actually get to meet the authors we work with in person. Rather than just via email or Facebook. So I think we've all missed the signings so much, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Desperately. Next year they're coming back. We're not letting it off again now. No, can't do it anymore.
All the new books on the table. I can't wait.
I know, it's going to be exciting. All 4 of them will be there. Who knows? Maybe 5, because I'm not very good at finishing things. So.
Is that a hint? Is that
No.
exclusive?
Hang on. We've not talked about this yet. She dropped this on me the other night, and we've not discussed it. She's like, maybe 5. I was like, I can't deal with that at the moment. Let's talk.
I mean, well, you never know. You never know with things, because we got to the end of the last series and we left it at a place where you never know one day. So I mean, I'm not very good at finalizing things, as we discussed in another video we did once, where I get a bit grumpy towards the end because we have to finish, and I'm not very good at finishing. So we shall see where it all goes. But yeah.
Well, this series doesn't end with the Muse. It's only book 1. And we were introduced with Landon at the end of, in the first book, but the end of the Muse sort of led you into what comes next. So can you tell us a bit about what comes next?
Landon is certainly gonna turn some heads. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what people
Landon
think.
Comes from the last books. He was the lawyer in the Kane series before this, so it's his family story actually that this is all developed from. So yeah, he's got a big job coming up now. He's without giving everything away, he's going to take over, and he is going to take over, and he's doing it in spectacular fashion. And then he finds something to get in his way a little bit. I think that's probably a good way of putting it, and confuse a very ordered head, shall we say. Yeah.
And what inspired you? Sorry, Wendy.
Go on.
I'm just going to say what inspired you to write the series, because it does mention the Kane novel characters at the end of the Muse. That's how it kind of leads into it. He alludes to the characters in your previous series. So was that the kind of inspiration? Was it him that started the ball rolling for this, or was it something different?
We were together, weren't we? We were on a visit.
We had a weekend away.
And we wanted to do another family saga, and we wanted to do it differently. We didn't want to, just do another mafia romance. And so we looked at who we could pull in and where that starting point was, and we then decided how we wanted to build that family up. So we kind of literally sat in a coffee shop in Wells for the whole afternoon, plotting this whole sort of historical family tree of this family, and secrets and lies and scandal, and we came up with that sort of concept of the series quite quickly, and then needed to sort of actually make the characters to fill it. So yeah, we took Landon as the
we wanted a
British.
Really. We wanted to be British this time, because the Kanes are all in America, and we wanted to very definitely write a British family, and write in London and Paris, and just be here rather than there. I write a lot in America. It was just nice to come back to the Britishisms and have a nice time, and Landon was British, so it was a good a good sort of flow. I don't think he was the original. I didn't think we thought about him originally. It just happened, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, we're very used. We've found over the years that we've put in the odd character or the odd line here or there in books, which has resulted in a very useful thing to be able to pick up in future ones. Landon being one of them. When we put in the lawyer in the last book in the Canes, we weren't sort of going, oh, well, that's going to be the spin-off, you know, a series or anything.
No.
It was not even the thought. But when we sat down and said we're going to do another series, it made sense. We created this sort of vision of what we would like to try and achieve, and that he was the starting point and a logical place to build from.
And it's always great if somebody enjoys the character, then they know he's somewhere else, so they can go back to a different series if they want to and find him somewhere else in something, albeit he's in the last book, but you can get an idea. So if they're reading this book and get any sort of feelings on who are these Kane guys, they can then go back and read 5 books in the Kane series if they want to, which is very different from this one, I have to say. Yes.
And if you could have any actors, actresses to play the characters in your book, turn into a film, who would you pick?
Oh,
This is the worst. I'm so bad at this.
I don't know. Who was that model I pulled up as my inspiration? I've forgotten.
I don't know whether you was brilliant. See, I can't see anyone but the cover for Seffi now, because the cover is the cover. So I really struggle.
No, I don't think I can pick one of them. Can you? No. Can you see? You can probably see somebody better than I can. I can't really see my characters. I just think them.
Yeah, Julie, have you got any? You're
Julie,
reading,
there you go.
Do you think that would be perfect?
So dark hair, thick glasses, really handsome for me is Nick Bateman. He's done a couple of passion flicks. Movies.
Okay. I can see him spotted with paint. That would work for me.
You can see him as a bit of the grumpy artist type. Female lead. Is it Emma Thompson that was in the Harry Potter films? She played Hermione. Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
Emma Thompson's getting on a bit now.
Wrong surname.
Still gorgeous.
Thompson, Watson.
Yeah, a bit younger.
Much.
If there's an age gap romance here, how old is that?
That would be totally reversed, wouldn't it?
Wrong way round.
Yeah. So Emma Watson. Yeah, that for me. Dainty. Blonde,
I can
beautiful.
Yeah.
That for me, off the top of my head, that's
if you can call them Julie and get passion flicks involved or someone, that's great. You know, just make that happen for us. That'd be wonderful.
Don't tempt me, because I could stalk Tosca for a month and try and get her to take this. I might even send them to Lauren Olsen, who does all the book writing.
Brilliant.
She'll end up blocking me on social media.
It doesn't help when you're a blogger.
No, don't do that.
Makes the job a bit difficult if everyone blocks you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I was going to say, we were going to try this right at the end. We said, we might have a competition and do a giveaway or something. And I was looking at, have you heard of the Room Rater?
No.
There's an account on Twitter called the Room Rater, and basically they rate people's backgrounds when they're in Zoom calls. And I'm looking at mine, and it's like just like a painted wall. Claire's in darkness now because it's obviously going dark outside. And I feel like Rachel's probably gone to the most trouble out of all of us.
Yeah. I've just got a corner of a picture.
It wouldn't be much of a competition.
I think you're underestimating my spare duvets. I mean, come on.
Is there a laundry pile there somewhere as well?
No, it's just stuff piled up because we're doing the bedroom, so it's all piled on the bed.
You have gone into darkness, Claire. What's
You
going on
have
over
got
there?
it, no.
I haven't got a light on and it's gone dark.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
But if I put a light on, you'll see the duvets even more.
So she thinks she'd win if she put a light on, so she's not going to do it now.
We should all have those silly Zoom backgrounds on. I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, some like unicorns or something, or a Hawaiian beach in the background. That would be super nice.
That'd be lovely, just to get to a beach.
It would.
Yep.
Well, ladies,
like
it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. And I want to say thank you for doing this. I know, Rachel, you were a little concerned about the video aspect of it, but you look lovely.
It always does.
That's very true.
Oh.
So it's been a pleasure. The reviews for the Muse this week have been amazing. All the feedback from the bloggers has been really, really good. So I want to say thank you for joining us, and hopefully we can do it again very, very soon.
Yes, I'd
Next
love
year,
to.
hopefully at a signing.
In
Yes,
person.
yes.
In
Yeah,
Yes.
amazing. Don't bring a microphone because I don't like those. I can just see you stalking corridors like just with a microphone in your hand, attacking people with it.
It'd be nice to do this round a table with a glass of wine and just, you know, instead of sort of on Zoom.
Talk. Yeah,
Non-COVID.
we'll get there. Not long.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Lovely
yes, thank you for
chatting.
having us.
You're very welcome. And
And
congratulations
all of your-
on the release.
Oh, thank you. And as always, thank you for supporting us.
Yeah, lots of love.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.